Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it.
Hey guys, how are you? So this week I wanted to talk about negotiating, but not all the stuff that we usually talk about because I've been talking about negotiating for a long time. I talk about negotiating all the time. But this topic keeps coming up. So people keep coming to me and saying, how long do I need to wait to get a promotion? How long do I need to wait to get a pay rise? I've been doing my job for X amount of years or months, and I think I should get a promotion by now, but I'm really struggling. And let's face it, we all want more money, because who doesn't? And better careers. We all want to get the great titles. We want the great money to go with it, or we want to do what we currently do, but get paid what we deserve. But one of the biggest problems I've been seeing lately is, what are you negotiating with? Negotiations are a two-way street. It is an even exchange. But what are you exchanging in return for what you want? A lot of people will say to me, I've worked for 6 months, or I've been here a year and I want a promotion. Is it too soon, or can I just go and ask for one? And the question you're asking is wrong, simply because it's not about the time frame. It's about, why should they give it to you? It's about, what do you have to leverage? You need leverage. It is simple as that. You don't need to worry about time frames, but you do need to worry about leverage. I have been promoted 4 weeks into a job. I've been promoted 6 months into a job. I've been promoted 7 times in 4 years. I've been promoted after a year and a half in a job. Like, I've been promoted so many different times within different roles. But getting that promotion always came down to one thing: what I had to leverage. When I got more money, like, the only reason I've been able to negotiate like 15K pay rises, 5K pay rises, 10K pay rises, whatever it is, the only reason my clients have been able to negotiate up to like 60K, double their salary. Like, I've got a client who tripled her hourly pay rate, like tripled it from £8 an hour to £25 an hour. How? You have to have leverage. You have to have something somebody wants. Otherwise, they're not going to pay for it. People are not going to pay for stuff out of the goodness of their heart. Companies aren't going to pay you more just because. Even if your company likes you. Like, I know a lot of people will be like, my company loves me. Yeah, but they love you because you do something for them. They love you because you got leverage. They love you because you contribute. You add value. So what are you using to negotiate? First and foremost, you've got to have something to negotiate. It's like being in a relationship. If you want someone to be good to you, you need to be good to them. Right? You put out what you want back. What are we getting in return? If you want to bake a really good cake, you got to start with really good ingredients, and you got to be good at baking, right? You got to put something in to get something out. It's the same with companies and negotiating. If you want more money, if you want the big pay rise, the 5-figure pay rise, the double the salary, if you want to change industry, if you want to negotiate your way into a higher title, what are you negotiating with? And when I say that, it's really important that we know what our results are. It's really important that we know what metrics that we have, so that we know what we are contributing. Whether you directly contribute or you indirectly contribute to your company and their success. Like, every company wants to be successful. Your company is currently either successful or not successful. Either it's making money or it's losing money. It's making profits or it's not making profits. It's growing or it's not. It's staying the same. Even if it's staying the same, but it's, still doing really well. Like, you're still making a profit, but you're not growing. That's fine, because you're still making profit. But what is your company doing? And how do you contribute to that? You need to know what you offer. What are your contributions? How are you valuable to them? So when you go into the negotiation room, when you practice the art of negotiation, you need to have something to negotiate with. Saying you've been somewhere for 5 years, 10 years, that's nothing to negotiate. You could have been somewhere 10 years and just been real average at your job. And someone else could have been there 10 years and been amazing at their job. So why you? And that's what I mean when I say leverage. What leverage do you have? Well, in these 10 years, I've done X, Y, Z. And it comes down to the 4 things I always tell you about. How have you made the money, saved the money, increased their brand reach or reputation, or improved processes? And you could have done that through training other team members. You could have done that by specifically updating tech, improving the process, changing processes altogether, telling them to do it in a different way. And that way now saves them money or it makes them money. How are you reducing costs for the company? How are you increasing? Like, are you really good at saving on the budget? Have you decreased the spend on like advertising and stuff, but increased the amount of customers that have come in? That's what you're negotiating. That's what you're using leverage as. First time I negotiated like a decent size pay rise, like I'd negotiated before that, but the first time I negotiated a decent amount was when I said to them, I've made you this much money in the last 6 months. And I predict that I can make you X, Y, Z in the next 6 months, but I'm not going to do that unless you pay me this. And I didn't say exactly like that, but that's what I said. I said, this is what I'm bringing to the table. I deserve X, Y, Z in return. I deserve 5K more in return. I deserve 10K more in return. I've looked at the market. That's another way. Go out to market. What are people in your industry getting paid to do your job? Now you need to justify it. So yeah, in the industry, people are getting like 50, 60K. But then your boss might be like, yeah, but those people are probably helping their company make this much money. Do you see? That's why you need to be able to negotiate. They're not going to pay you that type of money unless you're bringing something to the table. What are you bringing to the table? Listen, all the biggest name brands, LV, Burberry, Prada, they sell great product, great fashion, great retail stuff, great quality. And I don't mean great. You don't have to like what they sell. You don't have to love it, but the quality is good. It's not that you expect a different quality from them as to what you would expect from Primark. You just do, because the price point is different. But if they weren't giving you a good quality, would people spend all that money on it? If it fell apart after 2 seconds, would you spend that much money? Would those brands be as big as they are? No, because they haven't got anything. Their price point doesn't match. Does your price point match what you're offering? That's another thing. A lot of people want the big pay rise, but does your work ethic, the work you bring to the table, does that justify what you're asking for? Sometimes the reason you didn't get the pay rise was simply because you asked for way more than what your contribution is worth. They can pay someone less for your contribution because your contribution isn't that much of an impact. You don't make that much of an impact. And sometimes we have to be realistic with ourselves. Do I make this much of an impact or do I phone it in? I work with people, not currently, but I have in the past, who phone it in. They do the bare minimum. They come in late, they leave early, they barely do the work, or they're there the times they need to be, but they're literally scraping by. Stuff's never done on time. They're barely getting it done to a good standard. They do the bare minimum. So you get paid the bare minimum. When someone around you is negotiating and getting paid more, don't be upset if you know that you phone in your job. But a lot of you, and I know most of you that listen to this, work your butts off. You do a really good job. But do you know how that good job is impacting your business? Do you know how it's affecting their bottom line, how it's affecting the revenue they make? Let's be honest, all companies want to make a profit. The way to make a profit is either to grow your sales or to reduce your costs and continue selling at the price that you're selling at. One or the other. And you need to leverage your contribution to that if you want to be able to negotiate. You also need to consider what are your non-negotiables and what are your adaptable negotiables. And I say that because sometimes we go in with a hard line. I want 60K more, remote work, and I want to work part-time. Sis, listen, if everything you bring to the table is worth that, cool. But sometimes you've got to ease a company in. What is your non-negotiable? The remote or the 60K? Now, if remote working is an adaptable negotiable, as in you wouldn't mind if it was hybrid. You wouldn't mind working once in the office every couple of weeks or 2 days a week or once a week, whatever it is. Are you adaptable? You would prefer remote, but if you got the money you wanted, would you consider hybrid? That's what I mean by non-negotiables and adaptable. Some people will say, nah, I'm not willing to compromise on the remote, but I'll compromise a little bit on the salary. Cool. Then if that's what you're willing to do, you want 60K pay rise, but maybe you'll settle for a 50K pay rise if it's fully remote and part-time. That's what I mean. What are your non-negotiables? What will you not accept? And what can you be a bit adaptable on? And the reason I say that is because companies are willing to sacrifice something. Say, for instance, when I first negotiated working 4 days a week, that was the first reduction, but I didn't want to lose money on my salary. They're sacrificing because they're now paying me the same amount of money to only show up 4 days a week. What do I have to give them in return? I promised to increase the money even though I was going to do less days. I said, listen, if I continue to grow the business as it's been growing on my 4 days a week, then can we keep it 4 days a week? If not, I'll come back to 5 days a week. Why did I say that? Because that was my adaptable negotiable. I'm happy to come back 5 days a week if I can't still deliver on the 4 days a week. I'll still deliver everything I've been delivering. And what am I willing to sacrifice? I'm willing to sacrifice that extra day and come back in 5 days a week if it means that I have to. Because you've got to remember, they are sacrificing something. If you say I want to be remote and I want a 60K pay rise, and they're like, okay, I'll give you the 60K pay rise, but you're going to have to go hybrid. Sometimes that's worth the negotiation, because guess what? When you go hybrid, eventually 3 months, 6 months later, you can then request to go fully remote. Just say to them, look, I'm hybrid and things are going great. Let me go fully remote and let's see how it works. But ease them in, sis. Ease them into your negotiations. What are you willing to sacrifice? Especially when you're negotiating and you've not worked for a company. If it is a new company, they do not know you. If they have hybrid and you want remote and you're negotiating that, then it's going to be really hard for you on top of that to negotiate a massive pay rise as well, way more than they're willing to pay you. They don't know you yet. So what are you willing to sacrifice? You don't have to sacrifice anything. You can get everything you want. You can get fully remote and the 60K pay rise if that's what you want, and part-time if that's what you want. If that's everything you want, cool. But it might take you a little bit longer to find it. Because if your company's not willing to give it to you where you currently are, it's going to be harder to convince someone else outside who hasn't seen you work and you're just selling potential to give you all three. So that's why I say have non-negotiables and adaptable negotiables, or be willing to take a little bit longer. Because for me to find sometimes the perfect job for me, exactly what fits into my life and gives me the money I want, it's taking a little bit longer. It's not going to take you 4 weeks, not even going to take you 8 weeks. It might take you longer. It might take you 3 months, might take you 6 months, might take you a little bit longer to negotiate. So as long as you're willing to put in the time, you can have it. You don't have to sacrifice ever. And you guys know I'm someone who will say to you, why have one when you can have both? But understanding the current job market, just consider that it will take longer. And also remember, you've got a job right now. So looking for a job shouldn't feel like desperation, because you are working, your bills are paid, you are good. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that. I'm in a good position. That is why I'm able to go and look for a job. That is why I'm able to take my time and look for what fits with me. That's why I'm able to negotiate and practice these negotiation skills as I do it. But remember, if you want a company to compromise what they originally wanted, so they've told you we want someone 5 days a week who earns, 100K a year and works from 8 till 6 every day. But you negotiate hybrid and you want 120K a year. What are you maybe willing to compromise? Because now they're compromising. They're paying you more money than they wanted to, and you're not going to be in the office 5 days a week. So you've got to consider it in reverse. I want you to give me something because I'm a great worker, but obviously you are going to want me to compromise because you're now giving me something. So I usually am like, for giving me X, Y, Z, I will get you this. So then they don't feel like they're losing out. I'm going to help you grow your revenue by 10K in the next 4 weeks by you letting me go remote, or by you giving me this extra 20K on my salary a year. But you have to have something to negotiate with. This episode was simply a reminder that you have to have leverage. What are you bringing to the table? It is really important to understand your strengths, how they impact a business, how they make money, how they save money, how they grow the customer base, how they retain the current customers. How are you impacting these things? How have you improved processes? And what has that done for the business? Has it improved efficiency? If you've improved efficiency, you've made them money. If you're increasing productivity, you're making things better. Things are more efficient. Things are running smoother. Things are running better. Instead of it taking 4 days to do something, it's taking 2 days. Listen, that's making them money or saving them money in some way or the other. Are you keeping them compliant so they're not getting fined? What are you doing? Why should someone give you money? When you go to someone who doesn't know you and it's a brand new company, why? Why should I give you what you want? Why are you worth the top end of my salary band? I'm offering between 90 and 100K. Why are you worth 100K? What are you bringing to the table? What do you have to offer? Do not say because you've been doing this for 10 years. Because again, there are people that have been doing what you've been doing for 10 years and have got better results than you. And that's just what it is. Me included. There are people that have been in recruitment less time than me that can produce better results than me. I've trained staff to be better than me. I have trained staff to have a placement ratio of one in every two. So every 2 interviews they get one placement for a permanent job. My placement ratio for permanent jobs is 4. Like for every 4 interviews, I'll get 1 placement. I'm quick, but I still take longer. But I've trained people to get their numbers down to 2 to 1. So understand there is always someone better, faster, harder working than you are. So you have to consider that just because you've got 10 years doing something doesn't mean you're the best at it. Just means you've got 10 years of experience. Just means you've done something for a really long time. Doesn't mean you were really good at it. If you are really good at it, be very clear on why you're really good, how you've been really good, and what you're going to do for them if they offer you the job. In that way, you now have leverage. You have leverage to negotiate a better title, better money, better working conditions, equipment, whatever it is that you want, you need something to leverage. So this episode is your reminder. What are you negotiating with? If you want to know how to negotiate, you can go back to so many of my episodes where I'm talking about negotiating and exactly how to do it. But before you do your negotiations, remember, you have to have something that they want. Read the job description. Read the job advert. What does it tell you that they want? How are you going to give that to them? Then go ahead and negotiate the money you want. Then go ahead and negotiate the title you want. But you need to have something up front that you can sell to them. Sell potential, but you still have to sell something. Offer something. If you are in a current job, it is easier because they know how you work, but you still have to be offering something. What are you going to do for me while you want this pay rise? Like, what have you done for me? And that's really important. What have I already done that I will keep doing, but only if you pay me this much money? Right? Or I will keep doing even better if you pay me this much money. They're already paying you to do what you do at a certain salary, but they might want to keep you. The only way to keep me now is to pay me market value. Market value is this. You're only paying me this. I want more. Otherwise, I'm going to leave. Simple as that. You do not say it in those words. Threatening a company that you're going to leave is terrible. Do not say it like that. You have to be professional, but you have to have something to negotiate with. So that's it. This is a short and sweet episode. What do you have to negotiate with? Make sure you're really clear on what you're negotiating with, and then go ahead and start your negotiations. They want something. If you can give them that, then go ahead and negotiate. Tell them how much money you're going to make them. Tell them how much money you're going to save them. Tell them how you can make their brand reach wide and far because you're great at social media or whatever it is you're great at. You're great at building reputation. Show them why you and why you're worth everything you're asking for. So it doesn't matter how long. You could have been somewhere 6 months. If you've made a massive impact, you can ask for that promotion. You can ask for that pay rise. But if you haven't made the impact, then what are you using to negotiate with? I hope this has helped someone. And I will see you in the next episode. Or I'll speak to you.
I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and careers. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.